All right, so fish off with rapid reaction. A lot of topics, a little bit of time. Let's go, Jay.
Yeah, here we go. LeBron James has agreed to a 2-year, $85 million extension. Did that news surprise you?
Not exactly. I mean, obviously, after the championship, they're going to be looking to keep him around as long as they can. But the age thing starts to get a little concerning. We know Father Time's catching him at some point, and it ain't any time soon. It doesn't appear, but that's going to extend him pretty far in. You'll be paying him a lot of money, and at some point, that's going to look a little rough. We'll see. Michigan has canceled his game against Maryland this weekend due to a rise in COVID cases within the program. What's your reaction?
Everyone across the board should be thrilled, including Michigan fans. I think we're done with Michigan. This is probably the last time they get referenced on this program. We're done with them. We're done with Jim Harbaugh. We're done with his pants. We're done. Texas quarterback Deshaun Watson believes it is very important that his top wide receiver, Will Fuller, gets re-signed. Do you agree or disagree?
I don't know. Be too happy about that top receiver billing after the PED suspension. There, Deshaun. Like I know, like you want to keep one guy around because they're going to trade him otherwise, but Bill's not there anymore, so maybe you want to rethink that. But yeah, I'd be considering giving him that much money with the news of his suspension for the rest of the season. Something to think about. The Dallas Cowboys got the rare opportunity to watch their opponent play today, the Baltimore Ravens. Do you think that'll help them out next Tuesday?
I don't think it's going to help them. I don't know if there's much, if anything, that can help that team. You've seen some of the stuff about that team. I mean, they can sit there and watch the games with their coaches, and they don't believe that their coaches still can put together an effective game plan. It's hopeless. Forget about it. I still think Jerry Jones needs his own camera on the broadcast. Just put it up in one corner of the TV so we can see all the great Jerry Jones reactions. That's the one thing about Cowboys games that I enjoy. NBA opening night will feature the Brooklyn Nets and Golden State Warriors. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does this game intrigue you?
I'm going to go about an 8. I'm going to assume everyone's there and healthy. That can be obviously. Prayers up to Klay Thompson, but I'm interested to see if this Golden State Warriors team is going to be still pretty good. I mean, we got Andrew Wiggins running around. We got the second overall pick in the draft. James Wiseman's going to be out there, and then of course the Nets, completely new look, completely new coach, completely new everything. And from what we understand, they're probably not going to make any giant trades, so we're getting what we get. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. Pretty excited to see what they got. The NBA Christmas Day slate features the usual 5 NBA games. Which one of those stand out the most to you?
Yeah, I think Lakers Mavs is the one I'm looking at. LeBron with the new extension coming out there. You get the third installment of Luka Doncic, who made just a remarkable jump from Rookie of the Year to looking like an MVP candidate. I think that's the one that stands out the most for me. Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight went down Saturday night. What'd you think of it, Cody?
I think it's really cool that it is in the year 2020 and we get to see Mike Tyson boxing. I think that's awesome. I know a lot of people, especially purists of the sport, kind of clown it a little bit. Didn't get a chance to ask Drink what he thought about it. But a lot of purists think oh, this is just some exhibition nonsense. But I think sometimes in sports, especially sports that maybe don't get the top tier billing like boxing kind of has lately, that you need a little bit more spectacle than sports sometimes. You need something to kind of get interest back in. I mean, UFC, I know there's people get into it, but sometimes it just feels like the same dudes just kind of doing their thing. Whereas, sometimes they need to shake it up. And I think that's what this fight did. I think it's cool to see some of these older guys fight. I know they still want to do it and maybe have an older league. Pretty cool to me. Michigan State's men's basketball coach Tom Izzo says he doesn't plan on placing an asterisk on his first win at Duke because of the arena having no fans. You have a problem with that statement?
I don't have a problem with that statement. I mean, it's not thinking about this. This was only Tom Izzo's fourth game down at Duke. So I mean, he was 0-3 coming in. It's not one of these situations where he was like 0-12 and just could never get it done. And now all of a sudden you remove the fans from the building, and that's the one thing that got it done. I watched a good deal of this game. I just thought Michigan State looked like the superior team. I mean, I know the score was, I believe it was a 6-point finish, but they looked like the better team throughout the game. And I just think that's the difference. I don't think the lack of fans had much to do with it at all. The Jaguars have fired GM Dave Caldwell. What did you think of that?
About 7.5 years too late, I tell you. I could go all into it, but I'll say this: I don't think he was a horrible GM for the time. He had a period where he did build a team that went to the AFC Championship. That's not something every team can say. A lot of teams came and say they won a playoff game in the last 2 decades, and he won 2 of them. So I think the problem with Dave Caldwell came down to his first-round talent. He could draft in the second, third, and beyond rounds, but his first-round picks were terrible for the most part. And the few he landed, like Jalen Ramsey, he wound up trading. You can't do that. You can't build a team when you're always trading your best players. And towards the end there, his contract contract decisions for people like Blake Bortles and Nick Foles, 120 or 30 million guaranteed dollars of those two players that, one game wear a mask, the other one's, getting benched for Mitchell Trubisky. So that just like the bad was so much worse than the bit of good that he had. It just didn't work out. He's a good guy. Wish him the best of luck. The Jaguars needed this change of pace, and they definitely got it. Last one, the Texans, Falcons, and the aforementioned Jaguars all have GM openings. Which one do you think is the most attractive job?
And at the Lions as well. As much as you, I know you got a great selling point. I know you're trying to get me on the Jaguars. You got the pool. You got the pool too. That's actually the most compelling thing about them. But they have Gardner Minshew, Jake Luton, and Mike Glennon. They've all played this year, so they have. If you got two quarterbacks, you have zero. So they have three. So I don't know. They have less than zero. So and then the Falcons and Lions, they got alleged franchise quarterbacks. So we think, but they're aging, and we'll see what happens with them. The Texans are the only one with a bona fide franchise quarterback. And if Bill O'Brien had any semblance of ability to run a team and they had a living, breathing owner, they wouldn't be in the shape they are in now. They get the right GM in there. They can get it turned around in a couple years. I think the best job is the Texans.
All right. That concludes today's Drink of Wisdom. I'm Cody Ward.
And I'm Jay Wise. And remember, make tomorrow better than today. Make today better than yesterday. We'll see you next time.